Okay, welcome to the Icefaring Guard, reverse engineering the loot index. So this entry, for example, if you're looking for animal hide, would mean that at nodes 5 in chapter 2, for nodes 5, 10, 12 and 13, you can loot for Ottomani hunter. And it will drop an animal hide. And also in Frozen Waste, Rekka Glacier, the Broken Land, Untitled Span, and Uruk Span, and in Nispath. Basically, if you go to Frozen Waste, you can just keep on farming for, and you will find animal hide. Animal hide is also found by a two-man radar if you encounter it at nodes 11, 18, 21, 20, 42, etc. So you do this for all the other things like bound fragments, carapace. Note that normally you would think that carapace is only attainable at chapter 4, but there is a Tenebris Zook in nodes 18 and 23 that you could, with a little buff, try to defeat, to farm carapaces. And carapaces are very necessary ingredient for the Uber gear. So these would be your favorite spots for quite a while. What else is there? Yeah, so I also wrote the Cornelian. It's side quest, page 44 reward. Cedar is you need to chop, so it's in node 41. Cherry, you can do this in 71. I later discovered that in Fort Istra you can also pay with experience to have this shipped to you. So I'll add this to the master list. But ideally what you want is not... let's find something practical. So ideally what you want is not something like this, but something that is less spoilery. That means that you go. So you, this would go into an Excel file, and instead of node, so you have this. Then you check. Where is my map? Where is my map? Where is my map? So you you make another mapping. So we have a mapping from loot to index, from card box to loot, and from card box to index. So via loot to index. The next thing that you want is to write node 1 and 27 and 80 so this corrupted lobster thing, what is node 1? Yeah, it says here that the two 27 and 80 are water nodes, and it's up to discussion if a water node is accessible in chapter 1 or not. I would argue that you can wade into the river, but you cannot travel from a blue node to a blue node, and this is explicitly forbidden by the rulebook. But you can access them. However, there is no path from 76, 77 to 80. So in for this node and this node, you cannot reach them even if you stop at 39, for example. Then so I would say blue nodes are off limits unless you have a baud. Okay. In book 1 you don't have access to blue nodes, but you do have access to node 1. The only problem is that this part is forbidden. I'm not sure if you see that. Yeah. So this part is forbidden. So the only way to get a horn from a corrupted lobster is to go to node 1, and that to back check that. Oh yeah, it's chapter 2. So okay, that's not a problem then. This 2 means that it's only accessible from chapter 2 onward. So for metal fragments, that would be, I think, a better way, because everybody is complaining about metal fragments, right? Metal fragments, this is it. So you can happily harvest a full moon scout for metal fragments in the early part, as well as your acolyte or a bounty quest for Stropha. And King's Guard also drops metal fragments in the main quest. But for chapter 2, people seem to think that there are no metal fragments, but that's not true, because nodes 14 and 105 have metal fragments, but you have to go to 14, that is here. So in order to get there with book 1, you would have to cross all the way to the frozen wastes. So ideally you would make here a save point by using a tent, so you can access that and go back and forth. For 105, that's here, all the way to the bottom. That would effectively mean that you have to go via Rastor from the north, or via Fort Istra. But if once you cannot access Fort Istra, because that would trigger the story point, and then the world would immediately become level 2. Oh, but this is level 2, right? So yeah. So you that's apologize. So once you are in Fort Istra, 105 would be the closest way to farm for metal fragments. Yeah. So ideally, what you want, and this is for chapter 3, and this is for chapter 4. So there are a lot of places where you can find anything. You know, how do you say, for anything that you want, there are a lot of places. So this effectively means that you want to not say corrupted soldier, because that would be spoilery, but what you want is a list that would say near Rasdor, so for example southwest of Rasdor, and for node 2, which is 14. For node 14, that would be south of Ice Caves, right? Now, assuming that you have plenty of time and energy, you can do this for all the entries, but just look at how cool this is. You can easily imagine that this is like the NPCs are whispering to you that there is a rumor that somewhere southwest of Rasdor there is a way to find metal fragments. Somewhere south of the ice caves there is a way to find metal fragments, and that the kind of brings alive a more dynamic way to act in this game. The things that you find should be like so. Um, um, you would try to make some gear, and then this sub goal immediately becomes relevant. So oh shit, I have a lack of metal fragments. Where can I find them? Okay, there's some things southwest of Rasdor. You don't know exactly. You shouldn't write a note. So you should hide this. This would be the ideal rumor form, and I know that SKJ is really against this. They want you to blindly stumble into everything, but that will cost a lot of frustration, and this makes it into a cool RPG. So this would be the ideal way to organize by reverse engineering. So for fragments, you have corrupted soldier, midnight hydrangea. For example, is you can craft it at Istra, but you need book 4, so you can forget about this. Midnight hydrangea is a powerful ingredient, and you can harvest it from Automani Mendar. But I can tell you this, but you won't remember. And what you ideally want is very simple, like Midnight Hydrangea. It's from chapter 2. That's necessary. You don't want 5 and 12, because 5 is... So that would be east of ice caves. That's all that you need to know. Uh, 12 is